How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Wolf, and welcome to episode 7 of the Ultimate Survival Guide, Season 2 for Path of Exile, where I do my best to showcase Speed Ranger in all of its glory, and I'm going to be doing exactly that over the next little while, because today, at least in my time, I'm going to be playing probably a lot today, so there's going to be a lot in the same sort of sequence, provided I can keep talking. Because I have 3 days until ExileCon, and 3 days probably until the next league gets announced. Because I don't know when this league's getting canned, but I want to actually try and get to Endgame and showcase as much of that as possible in relatively decent time. So we'll see how that goes. Because I want to do end game shit in this series. I want to show Atlas stuff. I want to show speed clear. I want to show improving a character and all this sort of stuff that I didn't get to show in the previous one. But of course, we got to go through all the hoops and hurdles of acts and all that sort of stuff. So, and I would still rather just show everything because there's a lot to leveling, like Ranger and that sort of stuff, versus leveling Marauder, right? If I was playing another Marauder, then I could just say, okay, well, you've seen all of the leveling before, so I'm just going to skip ahead. But in this sort of case, also, isn't this just fucking stupid? Like, if you, for whatever reason, didn't watch the last episode, or you haven't been paying attention, isn't Tornado Shot just fucking stupid? Like, this is actually fucking mind-boggling that I've been able to pull off this level of damage. Like, okay, I'll be entirely honest with you, when I played the original Survival Guide character, it filled its premise, it really did, but it didn't do it that successfully. With words are hard. With the original Survival Guide character, the goal of the series was to showcase the impossible to a lot of people, which was to go in without a build, without a plan, and to make something decent and effective. And I did that. Don't get me wrong, I made something that could make it to endgame, that could scale up, that had all of the settings and possibilities to scale up into something that cleared endgame well. But at the same time, it wasn't very fast, it wasn't the best of things, it didn't have good clear speed, but it never died. You never had to worry about seeing a death screen, pretty much ever, and it could clear. Sure, it wasn't like Sonic the Hedgehog, but it was good, and I used that to showcase the thing that a lot of people said was basically impossible, or that a lot of streamers like to tout was impossible. You needed to go in with a build, you needed to go in with a predetermined character, or it's kind of funny because it's a perpetual cycle in Path of Exile. It's also a brilliant marketing ploy. Because all the content creators say, oh, you can't play Path of Exile without looking at a build, and then everyone makes build guides. So they're like, you can't play this game without having looked at a build previously, or you're gonna have a bad time. Here's all my builds, by the way. Not like I don't fucking do it too, it's par for the course, but I just realized how much of a brilliant marketing ploy that is as I was, talking about it. But this series is already feeling so much different because I've made a fucking monster. And at the same time, I say that and sound surprised. Meanwhile, anyone who's watched anyone play Ranger for a decent amount of time knows this isn't even that bad. Or this isn't even that, scary. You can get stupider, and you can get a lot stupider. But what's really throwing me for a loop with this setup and this version is I've played characters that are fully loaded in full leveling gear. I'm talking Tabula, unique from head to fucking toe with movement speed boots. They weren't this fast. They were not this fucking fast. Maybe it's just bad design choice by me, maybe it's bad build design, or maybe I play too much meme shit. I mean, that's also a possibility, but the fact that I built this character and have gotten no leeway in terms of gear aside from the bow, and we're this fast. Oh man, it's insane to me. It really is. I'm supposed to be the big guiding voice that's done all this shit before, but I have not done this. I have made Rangers that are fast and effective, but they always level with leveling gear. Ranger was never my first character in a league. It was always my my second or third. I always play Marauder first, generally. And don't get me wrong, this Ranger is my fourth character. The first to actually make it to Endgame at the rate I'm fucking going at. Well, I've played one character when the league first started. Then I took a long break. Then I tried to play another one. Then I stopped playing that one because it was kind of boring and took another break and because I got bored. Then I came back and played my Bleed Zerker, which is getting to endgame now. It's in Blood Aqueducts, I think. And then we have this character, so it's one of two characters this league that's making it to endgame, which, considering how much I might be playing it today, might make it there before my other character. Although, my other character's kind of already there. But the fact that due to the premise that I'm playing on, like, I don't have any leveling uniques, I'm not using any of that sort of stuff, and I have a few things that I could have used, nothing really too much, but the fact that I'm still able to make something this fucking deadly and this fast, that is faster than my leveling gear characters, is mind-blowing to me right now. Like, for those of you who have never played Ranger or are like genuinely new to Path of Exile, the whole sort of amazement thing I'm going through right now probably doesn't make a lot of sense to you, because I know what that feeling is like, and you know, I can pull from that and like infer from that sort of thing, because I still remember what that sort of scenario was like when I first started playing PoE. And the reason that I made PoE content actually was because every Path of Exile video I saw was way too hard to understand. And anything that I watched before playing or while playing didn't make any sort of sense to me. So I decided, you know what? If what they're making doesn't make sense to me, I'm sure it's the same for other people. So I just decided to do it my fucking self. So I know what that point feels like, where it's like, this sort of shit doesn't make sense, but it should be pretty visible how fucking stupid this is. And I've played a lot of PoE, like, obviously not as much as some people, but in my standards of PoE, this is Sonic. Because I like to play slow, methodical, melee type of stuff. I'm a barbarian main, right? So I'm not a demon hunter player very often. So to go into this side of PoE and see it flourish this well, this easily, is kind of fucking crazy. It's like when Legion first came out and they had the melee overhaul, and I played Cyclone, which was a skill that it was the first skill I ever made a build on, was Cyclone, and it was pretty good, but it had a lot of shortcomings. And I played new Cyclone, and I literally cut through the game like fucking butter, with a really shitty weapon too. And I was floored at how easy it was. Keep in mind, I'm doing all this story shit just as I clear. Like, that's wild. But it was weird, because I was used to the acts being a slog as opposed to being relatively quick, or any sort of quick. Even when I played like previous Cyclone characters with a good weapon, with full leveling gear, I was used to it being a slow slog. And then I played revamped Cyclone, and I was clearing things so fast with zero worry and zero like issue, and just popping off. And it was weird to finally be able to go into the speed side. Don't get me wrong, I've made some good characters and some fast characters, but a lot of characters only come into their own after reaching Blood Aqueducts, at least in my scenario, which is like level 58 to 60-ish, is where I find most builds come together, and where a lot of the power comes in, and you actually wind up with a build, as opposed to, okay, I'm playing Ancestral Warchief for the 15th time to get this character to 58, then switching to the rest of my build. Maybe that's where the problem lies. But like, any sort of character that can achieve stupid clear pre-actually coming into like what the build's supposed to be, it's weird. It really is. I'm not used to this sort of thing. But, I mean, It's an entirely different. I fucking killed myself by standing still too long. It's an entirely different ball game. Playing Ranger to playing like melee and shit, because to a lot of people, melee is considered the bottom of the barrel. Like, it's not so much that it's, you know, absolute swine sort of bullshit, but just that it's not good in comparison to everything else in the game. And I generally shrugged that off and didn't really care. And I see what they mean now, because I play this sort of play style, this sort of character, very sparingly. I play a lot of Marauder, I play a lot of melee because I enjoy that type of play style, and I enjoy just that type of character. So I don't get to see this side very often. I do not see this side very often at all. And I see now why people say melee is bottom of the barrel, because if this is what you play league in, league out, every single time, playing characters this stupid, this fast, this simple, it's no longer a foreign concept to me how people manage to get 4-hour act clears. Like, it's becoming less and less a foreign concept when this is the most played build in the game. I can fucking see why. Like, I don't know. I just had like a weird fanboy moment for like 15 minutes. Hope you enjoyed that. It's weird. It's really fucking weird. And just how brain dead it is. It's one of the things that kind of annoys me about PoE though, because there's not many people who enjoy the slow and methodical playstyle in PoE. Everyone enjoys what you're looking at, which is fast, 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 go fast, go fast, 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 fast. Like, go so fast to the point you can't even enunciate the word fast anymore. And that's the way people play PoE. That's the way people build characters. And that's because it's become a game of how much currency can you grind and how fast. To keep up with your friends, to buy cool shit, to, you know, buy your chase uniques, to buy as many builds as possible. People aren't playing on a character-by-character basis to have a good time. People are playing Trade League to get as much currency as possible, buy Headhunter and quit, and call their league done. So, like, I can see that sort of point of view, but that's craftable prefix. I don't really care though. Yeah. Not linked. If it was linked, I would care. I just lost my train of thought. I had it, but I just fucking threw it away. Something about fucking speed and like this whole scenario. But yeah, the more and more I play this, if this is all you play, I can see the sort of thought process of why melee is low tier. Also, I remember where I was. That not many people enjoy this sort of like slow melee methodical playstyle, which means creating builds for that doesn't really go anywhere in a lot of scenarios, which is like a me as a content creator problem. But it's kind of annoying because I like that sort of playstyle and that playstyle is fun. But everyone's like, oh my god, needs more clear speed, get more clear speed. Like, you build a slow build, and the whole comment section will tell you it's a slow build, even though you fucking literally said at the start. I don't know. It also rules out the other playstyle I enjoy, which is like a sword and board, big beefy tank type of character. Because playing that sort of thing is literally redundant. Like, why would you run sword shield when you could run dual sword and squeeze out more DPS, right? Which makes me sad because I enjoy this sort of sword shield type thing. I wish there was a sword shield barbarian build in Diablo 3. I'd play the shit out of it. I feel like when you're playing an action RPG slow and methodically, I fucking outleveled my casting damage taken, so that's kind of awkward. It's about a level anyways. I feel like when you're playing an action RPG slow and methodically, you can appreciate it more rather than having an explosion of color on your fucking screen, you know? Like, that's why I kind of like early levels in most action RPGs. Like early game Diablo 3 or early game, what is it? Early game Torchlight, even early game PoE to an extent. That's why I like races, or the concept of races. Of like starting new characters, playing low level, slow, methodical gameplay. Where every upgrade's like a big piece, you know? The roguelike sort of playstyle. That's the way I can explain it to most people that it'll make sense. The sort of slow, methodical roguelike playstyle. that comes with that sort of territory is how I enjoy top-down action RPGs to be. But a lot of people prefer, you know, playing Sonic the Hedgehog in 3D space. So each to their own, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I've tried playing games like Grim Dawn and whatnot, and even with that sort of scenario, don't get me wrong, Grim Dawn's really fucking good. This is bad. I'm dead. Yeah. I did that wrong. I should have stood behind this thing here. It blocks the projectile. Or blocks all of the projectiles and would keep me alive. Also, this boss fight is fucking simple. That is that mechanic. Don't get hit by other stuff. He does dashes and whatnot. You can kite around most of the room. In this sort of fucking scenario with this build, you don't really have to think about boss mechanics at all. Run a circle around him for the beam. Don't get cleaved by the big dude. Don't stand in the giant circle. Don't get hit by projectiles. Add phase. Sorry, refill flask phase, lol. Proxy shields as well, by the way. You have to jump inside them to be able to hit the guy in it. Sometimes the projectile shields go down. They won't do that in late game, so get used to hopping inside the projectile shield and killing him quickly. Yeah. That's basically the fight, really. Here's the beam. Thanks to our walk speed being excruciatingly over the top, I can just kite him out. Don't get hit by that. Don't get hit by that. I say getting hit twice by the same thing. He's gonna probably, yeah. Once this dude goes to stone, yeah, he's turned that to stone. Did I phase him fast enough? Yeah, okay, never mind. If you don't phase him fast enough, he'll do the ball thing the other guy did. So keep an eye out for that, because that phase can actually kill you pretty quickly. But you just need to watch for when his statues solidify. If you're not fast enough to kite all the way around him when he does the beam thing, by the way, you can stand behind the statue and the statue will absorb it. If he has, ow. This is what the Quicksilver's for most times, though. This is what I'm talking about. This is where the bossing slows down a little bit. Alright, I'm fucking dead. I actually did that as perfectly as possible. That's the ball mechanic I was talking about, and I didn't realize it was coming, so I ran to the edge of the room, got as much space as possible, and then, you know, Tetris'd my way through. We were okay. See if Sniper Bow has anything for us here. Nope. Is it a better base? 45? I mean, it could be. But this thing's gonna be more than good enough for the next little while. Until at least like 50, 55-ish. Cutscene, it's like 5 seconds. Doesn't really matter. Just fucking skip it for clear speed. Lol. Back to town, grab our rewards here. And we can get Onslaught Flask, Quicksilver, Normal Life Flask. In this scenario, I think I'm going to take Quicksilver and try and roll it. Actually, I'm going to take the Onslaught Flask because I'm going to need this later on to replace this. And now we get our first choice of unique jewels. This is given to you whenever you kill Innocence, which is the Act 5 mid-boss. This can be build-defining. You can make characters based around this in Trade League, Solo Self-Found. In Solo Self-Found, it's generally pretty good to build around some of these, because you get them guaranteed all the time. So, these take up the slot of this, a jewel socket, and then we'll have a circle around it that dictates a couple different things. So if you put a gem, or you put the jewel in the jewel socket, it'll say requires 40 strength and radius to do X or Y, or requires 40 dex and radius in our case, right? If we play like a ranger build. So then we have 10 dex, 20 dex, 30 dex, 40 dex, 50 dex, 60 dex. And so long as it's in like this sort of radius, then we'll get the passive bonus. So you have to somewhat plan around jewels and where to put them. So that's all for like build creation and that sort of stuff. Yeah, in our case, we don't have to care about any of that because we're not going to really use them. Also, another thing, what is it? This reward, you do not have to take it. So you can literally just, close it. You can progress the rest of the game with it just sat there. So if I ever want to make a character in Solo Self-Found that uses any of these unique jewels, so if I ever want to make a Ethereal Knives character, if I ever want to make a Ground Slam character, if I ever want to make a Wildfire or Molten Strike character, if I ever want to make a Cleave character, Shrapnel Shot, Ice Shot, Frost Blades, Freezing Pulse, Frostbolt, Magma Orb, Blight, and Spark. Say you get 2 characters to this point, or 1 character already, and then your next character. These gems that say limited to 2, that means you can put in 2 of them into your skill tree. So with the projectiles here, Freezing Pulse gives you 2 additional projectiles. That's for each jewel. So obviously, if you only have 1 character, you can only get 1 freely, and you have to farm the other one. Or you have to run a character to Act 5 and then get it, right? But if you make multiple characters, you don't have to take this. You can literally just click choose later, and it'll disappear. And if you go to make a Freeze Pulse character later on, you get that character here. Then you can come back on this character, pick up the reward, and you've got both your jewels. So for those of you altaholics, if you ever want to make a character based off one of these, which I would actually recommend, Molten Strike isn't bad. Ground Slam is very good. I've played Ground Slam characters that are a lot of fun. I kind of want to make another one at some point eventually. Cleave characters are pretty good. Not as good as they used to be, but pretty good. Ring of Blades is very good if you want to play an Ethereal Knives Shadow. That's very decent. Ethereal Knives Totems works well as well, and this does work for totems. I've played Freeze Pulse. It's really good. I played Crit Frostbolt. I have a Crit Frostbolt Occultist on the channel if you want to see that using these. One of my favorite builds. It shatters the whole screen and is super satisfying. I was originally going to play like Frostbolt or Freeze Pulse Totems for this series. I think we could play Fireball Totem actually. Yeah, something like that. But both of these are really good. I've played a Magma Orb character with this on the channel as well, I believe. That character was stupid powerful. Like, I could one-shot anything with it. It was, like, damn insane. I have not played Blight, and I have not played Spark, but I've seen some pretty funny Spark builds. So you could maybe try something with that if you want to go down that line. I've not played Frost Blades. I have played Ice Shot. Ice Shot's really good. I have played Shrapnel Shot as well. Shrapnel Shot is actually stupid busted with this, because if you have 2 of them, it deals double damage. Shrapnel Shot is a shot that shoots like this. So your end projectile's here, and then the shrapnel bonus cuts off at this point, right? Now this is the double damage window, right? This little bit fucking here. This part where the projectile ends doesn't get the double damage bonus. But then that means, since you have to be like really close to the target, well then you can get other different things. You can get point blank in the skill tree, which gives you more damage for being closer to people. Then you can use a Chin Soul Unique, which gives you a point blank bonus that stacks. That was the character I played. I one-shot everything. It was pretty fucking good. I don't remember if it's on the channel or not. I really don't remember. I'll have to check on that one actually. But that is a pretty decent character if you want something really simple. Just Chin Soul Shrapnel Shot with 2 of those jewels, and that's a very effective endgame ranger build if you want to try something like that. Why did I go this way? I'm fucking like, my brain's not working right now. If you want to try a build, or you want an idea for a build, try something like that. Maybe try it next league. Maybe if you're watching this at the time it's coming out, we have like, what, a month till next league? Maybe that's your idea for the next time around. Let me know how it goes. I want to actually like finish that character for me. I've yet to actually make a Chin Soul Ranger work. Like, I've yet to farm the fucking thing in SSF. So I've dropped it before, which was kind of weird. But I never actually managed to farm it, which kind of blows. Since you can farm a divination card for it that guarantees you get it. So you just farm the map that drops a div card, and then eventually you'll get there, since we're already playing a speed farming character, or you should be, for that type of bow character. It works out pretty decently. There's our bleed chance. We're at 25% chance to bleed now. Let's get AoE, just for the fucking meme. Yeah, why not? Actually, I should get more bleed right now. Yeah, I should push towards bloodletting to get bleed chance. I'm not gonna waste any more points in fucking around. I need as much bleed as possible now that we're getting into a later game. But we can still keep up our speed without really sacrificing anything. Also, this attack speed is wild. Burn him down. Fucking elites take way too much damage sometimes. This is a Vol side area. You can get unique versions of like the jewel you're using. Not like unique, but certain gems will have a second component to them that's only unlockable if you get the Vol version of it. You will have to re-level it. But like, say, Cyclone, for example, which is a you spin, you deal damage, it's whirlwind, basically. The Vol version will pull people in from, like, the whole screen. So you're spinning, and instead of going to them, they all come to you, and the whole map can come to you. Those are found in this sort of side area. So let's run it, and I'll showcase it to you, because someone asked me why I didn't do the Vol side area that we saw previously. And the answer to that is I don't value them very highly while leveling unless I'm playing a build that uses one of those. Like if I'm playing a build that uses, say, Vol Ancestral Warchief, then I'll do Vol side zones. Like this character isn't going to be using any Vol things at endgame. It might use Vol haste. I don't think it will, but I mean, if you really want extra clear speed that's slightly tedious, you could use Vol haste to get even faster, to push out as top end as possible. But gaining top end for pain in the ass is not worth it, in my opinion. So I don't really use Vol haste very often. But you fight your boss at the end of this. Some of them are easy, some of them are annoying. There's one that moves stupid fast and has proximity shield on him, so yeah, they aren't very fun. There's Vol Lightning Strike, which takes up half my screen to just explain what it does. These sacrifice fragments are used later in the game. I'll explain those when we get there in maps. Just collect them all for now, because they unlock an endgame boss, which is doable pretty early on, provided you get all the stuff for it. Vol side areas also drop really good weapons, or like really stupidly rolled stuff. So sometimes you can find a decently rolled weapon in a Vol side area if you're really in a pinch. Like this thing has good good physical damage, attack speed, and decent elemental damage, and is a 4-link. So if you were in a pinch for a 2-hander, that would work. The thing about Vol items is you can't do anything to them. So if I wanted to like reroll it, target is corrupted, because if it says corrupted on the bottom there, most of the items that'll drop out of a Vol area will be corrupted. You see the bow and all these sorts of things, right? Some of them are, some of them aren't. But that means they can't be adjusted or anything. Like I can adjust this chest piece, right? Can't do that to Vol items. So sometimes you get something really good. Sometimes you just don't really get anything. So when I'm leveling, it's not really something I prioritize or really care about, unless I'm playing a build like, say, Vol Warchief, where I'm gonna want to try and hunt for it early on. But even if I'm playing that sort of build, you can force craft Vol gems using Vol orbs later into the game. So I don't even need to run them at all if I don't really want to. Unless I want to run that one end boss that I talked about, and we'll be showing you eventually later on into the series. It's a fun boss. Drops a lot of pretty decent gear. Well, for specific builds, that is. Things have gotten a lot more gory. Is that from the... Yeah, it's the Brutal Shrine, I figured. Doesn't make a difference to me, but I don't know, some people are sticklers about that right now. There's a whole snowflake movement going on. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that sort of stuff. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't really make a difference to me. But the whole safe space bullshit that YouTube's trying to push on people is... Yeah, no. I'm good, thanks. When people say I swear too much in my content, well then, go watch someone who doesn't, but you're probably not gonna get the same level of information. So, give and take. I don't know. The world we live in right now tries to force you out of being yourself to be something politically correct. Which is no fun, because being politically correct is fucking boring. And then it means I can't make the best of the best jokes, like... You see, this is what I hate about the current, like, YouTube scenario, or just the current fucking life scenario, is I live by a rule that is, if you think of something and it's funny, say it. But, considering the world we live in right now, all the things that I consider funny can be construed as a little bit asshole-ish towards some people. Everything I say, obviously, is, like, in jest and whatnot, but some people take everything seriously. Some people, like, can't take a fucking joke. But some people can't take a joke, but they can easily take a 12-inch dick, and it doesn't make sense to me, but here we are. And it's jokes like that. That, as small as that is, I guess as large as it is in a way, could piss someone off. And you are supposed to be, like, wary of that. Like, fuck off. That whole scenario is just... That's politically correct in a fucking nutshell. The politically correct world we try to live in. Which makes making good jokes annoying, because I have to second guess myself every time. I want to go back to a world where I could make any sort of joke I want. Those were, it was a fun time. What, 10 years ago? Man, if only I was 10 years older 10 years ago. Life would have been so much more fun. Still being able to make bad jokes. You never know. You never know. Hopefully we can go back to that at some point, but... what's up? No? That might have been something downstairs. Okay, I heard something fucking banging around. A real life scenario, I guess. I can reach the boss pretty quick. Yeah. Oh well, I thought I heard someone knocking at my door, so I was gonna cut the recording there. But in this case, we can reach Katava. I don't know how much I should really be commenting on all of the act stuff. I'm sure you guys are able to read quest text, I would hope. It's go to place, get thing. Basically what I just did. When I got a sign of purity. It's a thing for the quest. I don't really pay attention to the lore. I'm here to kill shit and find fancy items, so I don't really pay much attention to that. From the ossuary waypoint is fixed most times. Run straight down, and then once you find these stairs, you'll be on your way to the end boss of this act. Also, did I just run this whole act in sub 30 minutes? I thought an hour run was fast. Fuck. I actually just ran the act in like sub 45 minutes while talking about political correctness. Alright. I mean, who fucking knows? Who knows? Every time I stream, this is what people enjoy me talking about more often than actual Path of Exile. So, I don't know. If my game crashes, I'm gonna be like the giga sad. Either way. I don't know. Like, the joke I thought of wasn't even that good, if you're wondering. Actually. No, actually it kind of was. I'm gonna say it anyways, because it's not actually that bad. I'm gonna say one that I just remembered. It's not the one I was originally gonna say. I read a joke the other day on Facebook that had me fucking rolling. I come up with my own jokes on the fly and all that sort of shit. I'm not really good as, like, writing things down in regards to jokes. There was a time when I was a lot younger, when I was about 14, where I genuinely wanted to be a comedian. So I spent a lot of time trying to write jokes, and I realized how shit I actually was at it. Because a lot of my comedy is off the cuff. Oh, fuck. Oh, I hit the flask a split second too late. Whatever. Or literally, it fucking got used. I'm depressed. A lot of my comedy, I realized, is very off the cuff, and I can't sort of write moments down, if that makes sense. But there's some written jokes that I read that just are so fucking good, and it's like, man, I wish I thought of this. And I read one the other day, and this dude was, it says, guys at a fish and chip restaurant, and he's ordering his meal, and he's out with his wife, or he's out with a chick. And the waiter walks up to him and says, alright, so what do you want? And he's like, fish and chips, please, thanks. He's like, and for your side? And he looks across the table, looks back, and goes, she doesn't want anything. Ah, man. But, you know, that can be construed by some people as misogynist. Whatever. 2019 in a nutshell. Do not fucking kill me again. Do not want to go down that route again. This is the sort of trade you make when playing a glass cannon build anyways. It's like, you can kill things really quick, but you get trapped and you fall over. Like, I got trapped and desynced for a split second and saw my life flash before my eyes. The wonders of not playing hardcore is that dying doesn't really matter at all. The only thing you really lose for dying, you lose a slight bit of XP and a little bit of will to live. But other than that, provided you don't die multiple times, the will to live stays like reasonably high. And that lets you keep playing Path of Exile without closing it. Because I've had some characters while leveling that have died multiple times, and I'm just like, I don't want to fucking play this anymore. Alright. So, Katava fight. Look at those fucking projectiles. He's gonna do his arm swing things. He's gonna do an arm slam like that. That projectile hurts pretty, like, hard. Stand in the opposite corner of wherever he goes to slam. Attacks are pretty telegraphed. Thanks to having dash and or a movement skill, you don't really have much issue here. You can literally just go from side to side most times. Then he's going to pop down and go into a different phase. Angry statue. 1v1ing the Mona Lisa doesn't end well. This just in. You know, I thought for the longest time Katava was a fucking woman because the name just sounds like it. And then I realized on stream, I'm like, I swear to God, if Katava's a woman who uses nothing but blood-based attacks, then GGG's got some... I just got one shot. Don't do that. And GGG's got some whack fantasies, but that is invisible projectiles. You love to see it. Don't stand in that X. Every tick of it does a ton of damage and can kill you pretty quick. Don't stand in the giant circle or the giant pool of blood. Don't get slammed. That ability, I don't know how I didn't die to that. The ability where he makes the giant circle, not that one, the other one, is telegraphed on this one, is on your location, wherever it starts, so you know exactly where to run away every single time. So getting hit by it means you're trapped in by something or blind, which, I mean, both are possible. This is a DPS phase. It doesn't matter if you don't kill it in time. Like, it stays like this until you kill it. So you have to hit his heart. It'll spawn mobs infinitely. So make sure you have some sort of AoE or you're gonna have a bad time. This is where the clear speed kind of falls off, but I can still clear trash quickly. It's just gonna take a little bit on act bosses now. It's whatever. Dodge that. Make sure I keep my mana up. It's located on where I was. You know, that hits there and hits me here, but I have projectiles hit me point blank and do nothing. Alright, esports ready. Fucking Christ. Located on my previous location. I don't know. Like I said, Don't play hardcore. Do not trust me. Like, I want to play hardcore, but don't. Hardcore in Path of Exile is like, I mean, if I got paid every time I died, maybe. Otherwise, it's literally slamming your head into a wall for your own enjoyment. Like, play Diablo 3 hardcore. At least those deaths are fair. If you die in, like, Diablo 3, you can tell what it was from. And you can adapt for it. In Path of Exile, sometimes you blink and you fall over. And sometimes you desync and you fall over. And sometimes you disconnect and your character's gone. That happened to me, and it sucked. That was the last time I played hardcore. I was having a lot of fun playing a two-handed tank Reeve Berserker. Remember how I said no one plays slow two-handed builds? I was like, fuck it, let's play it in hardcore because that's the best place. Because, you know, if you die, you die. So let's play a slow and methodical character. And create my very own Big Chungus. And so I did just that. And the character was basically unkillable. And in Act 7, with my Sword Shield Reeve Berserker, I think it was, I didn't die to the game. I died to a server disconnect. And my character fell over. And that made me very sad, because I was actually enjoying that character a lot. And it was making its way through hardcore very easily. And then they had a fucking server disconnect and I lost my character. So, don't play hardcore. Unless you really hate yourself. Which, I mean, some of us do, but still. Once you get them to 50%, the fight's over. So, Katava's done. That's Act 5 done. Keep an eye on your chat. I just fucking ran my hand over my mic. Don't miss this. This is important. If you've never seen it before. If you have, you know what it is, but still. You have been permanently weakened by Katava's cruel affliction. You now have -30 to all resistances. This is permanent. You get -30 here, and at the end of the game, you get another -30 to culminate in -60, because you saw how easy it was to get resistances, right? Considering how, you know, item tiers work, if you get tier 1 resistances on every piece, you'd think, oh my god, you'd be at 300, 400%. So this is how they counteract that sort of fact. So now our resistances took a massive hit, and now, because fuck you even more, the next zone, Act 6, is the most elemental zone in the game. Because fuck you, that's why. So they nuke your resistances and then give you a zone that is full of freezing projectiles and fire enemies that can delete you before you can finish blinking. So make sure you either have freeze removal, you cap your cold resist, or cap your fire resist, or just hate yourself and run through it pretty quickly. That's what I'm probably going to do, because once you get through mud flats, because yeah, they recycle zones now. Once you get through mud flats, the hard part is pretty much over. But getting through that is a fucking slog that is going to make you genuinely hate yourself, and or like contemplate tying a rope in the corner of your room, because it is brutal. Make sure you talk to Lily back here, because you're going to get clear at the Twilight Strand, which we're going to do right now before I end off this episode, which come out over here to the Twilight Strand, and we're going to kill everything here. It's a side quest. You don't get a skilled point book for it, but you get access to Lily Roth's inventory, which sells every skill gem in the game. Every skill gem you've unlocked up to this point. Then when you reach the epilogue, after you finish the game, she sells every skill gem in the game. You have to finish this quest to unlock her at endgame, so just do it while you're here. As well as it's pretty good XP. Alright, our damage is starting to go down a little bit. Our cheese strats might have to change a little in the coming episodes. I might have to either look for a bow, which is probably not the bow. I may have to change the gem setup a little in terms of more damage, or in favor of more damage. Also Blood Rage. So as we clear through this, you'll see as we clear to the end, there will be a monsters remaining thing that pops up. You want to make sure you get to 0 remaining monsters or the quest will not complete. So you literally have to kill everything when it says clear. And that counts for league mechanics in some scenarios, in some leagues. Like if it spawns enemies or something, then you're going to need to deal with that. Now in Blight League, it doesn't count. I've already tested it on previous characters. So if you're stuck at one enemy remaining and you've checked everything, sometimes it's the League mechanic. Here's an Abyss. This thing's a pain in the ass. It spawns a bunch of enemies. Long story short, a bunch of enemies come out of the hole. Kill them all if you can, or as many of them as possible. Then the hole moves. Sometimes it gives you access to a place called the Abyssal Depths, which then gives you a belt that holds an abyssal jewel. It's weird. It's kind of a long story. Essentially, you kill things and you get an abyssal trove that gives you loot, and then gives you unique jewels. Or I say unique, but like different jewels that can give raw flat bonuses. So these jewels can roll, say, added physical damage. So if you're playing a build that scales entirely off of raw physical, you can get a ton of jewels, a ton of jewel slots, and then just add in raw physical jewels after you roll them. So you can do some stuff like that. Do I want this? Probably not, but we'll see what's on it. Might as well. Bang. Okay. No, I don't really care. I mean, it's not even 5 link. If it was 5, I would care, but we got 2 more enemies remaining, I think. It's either 1 or 2 more remaining. Make sure to kill this fella. If it's 1 more remaining and if I actually have to do Cassia, I'm gonna be sad. Don't think I do. I think I just missed one. Here comes the fun part of looking back through everything. Oh, found it. I think. Did it port away? Oh, it goes invisible. Enemies that spawn from the abyss do count. So. And we are out of here, back to town. And I'll show you Lily Roth's inventory. Pop back here. Hand the quest in. Grab our 2 respec points, because sure. And these are all of the skill gems that we have unlocked so far from any of the main quests that we have done. Remember how I said I wanted to get Herald of Purity, but it wasn't sellable at the vendor? Well, it is now. Herald of Purity adds physical damage to attacks. That is a red gem that does exactly that. So I'm going to pick that up for flat damage. Then I'm going to grab a couple of other things. I'm going to grab probably Blood and Sand and Flesh and Stone. These are just flat damage multipliers, although Blood and Sand's actually pretty useless because I'm not using AoE. Where is Flesh and Stone? Make sure to use your search bar if you're blind like I am. There we go. Flesh and Stone makes it so that enemies near me will be maimed, which means they take increased physical damage, just like flat. This costs 25% mana, so it's basically like a Herald type of scenario. And I'm going to get as much damage as possible. I'm also going to take off Ice now, most likely, and put on Purity to just get raw physical damage. I think. We'll see. I need to get more reds now. So that means I've got to probably change the gloves or boots to something that holds more red gems. Or get lucky with the bow, which is probably not going to happen. So let me sell the extra stuff in my inventory. That's Dex. Take the bow out. See if I can roll. There's 1 red. I'll take it. That means I can put in... Put Flesh and Stone in right now. What else? We got Herald of Ash, Cast When, Summon Stone Golem. Okay. See if I can get a better pair of shoes. If that was 3 red, that'd be really good. I could maybe roll it to 3 red. There's a chance. 2 red and a green. Actually, I'm gonna pick that up. Yeah. Grab those. Then do some gem moving. Move Blink Arrow to there. Then move Dash into the bow. Switch those out. put dash back there. I have a 2-link here, so which means I can put in Herald of Purity. If I really want to push ultra damage, I can also put in War Banner. And I can take out Herald of Ice now. Take that out for the moment. Now I have raw physical damage, which scales better. I could still use Herald of Ice if I cared to because of the crit shatters and whatnot. But I'm not really sure which would be more damage in that scenario. But let's pop out to out here and put this new stuff on, and I'll show you what it does. And we'll probably call it there for this episode for a 50-minute clear of Act 5. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, I'd be very careful out here as well, because a lot of enemies out here do a lot of fire damage, and then in mudflats they have freezing projectiles, so you want to make sure you keep moving all the time so you don't get frozen and don't automatically die. Okay, we now have Flesh and Stone, as well as, oh, they're already there for us, cool. We have Herald of Purity, which is a nice damage boost for us. Obviously it needs to level up more, so I should probably have it in a second set, but it's whatever. Well, I can cheat a little bit. Where's my... I literally just binned it, didn't I? Where'd I put it? Herald of Ice. Right. We'll run that for now, while we're at it. And we'll use that until Herald of Purity levels up to a point I can use it. We might have strength problems, we'll see. Then we're going to use Flesh and Stone, and you'll see this circle around us. When I turn it to... fucking wrong button. When I turn it to red, it's going to be when enemies are in this circle around us, they get maimed, which means they take increased physical damage. So anything in this circle will take bonus damage, which means when I'm killing a boss, I want to have the boss in this area to get bonus damage. Pretty simple, really. And now we're getting as many bonuses as possible, and I have enough mana I can squeeze out War Banner to finagle at a little bit of extra damage. And since it only costs, what, 17 per arrow? And we also have damage leech now. That's pretty decent. I can get that little bit of extra physical damage off of War Banner there. As well as put it here, because you do get a bonus for slamming it. And let me take my last 2 points. And let me show you what it's like, just a little bit before we head off here, see if I have any mana problems. Now we're doing pretty okay, I think. Don't have any mana issues. Anything that comes too close to us takes bonus damage. Keep up on the mana flask just in case. The movement skills will drain your mana if you're not paying attention, especially when you're playing on a low percentage like this. But we've amped up as many physical boosts as we possibly can, and I've already found the waypoint. Solid. But yeah, that's even more clear speed for single target in this case, because both of these that I've squeezed out now will give us a ton of extra added physical on single targets or people close to us. As well as Herald of Purity will give added flat once I actually switch to using that later on. But that's going to be all for this episode. Thank you very much for joining me, and as always, take care, gentlemen.